For more, and this is former Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker. Sir, thank you for joining us today. I want to get your take. Is this executive order and the efforts Biden is making to stop the Supreme Court ruling even legal?
Well, good morning, and glad to be with you. This executive order, I think, is just one of many desperate steps that the Biden administration is going to take to try to, sort of combat what they see as a, grievous legal mistake by the Supreme Court in the Dobbs opinion. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. And to your point, I think this executive order, while it's not even legally appropriate, I also think it's going to have no impact ultimately on this issue. This issue has been returned to the people through the representatives, and really the next step is by lawmakers, both in the state and at the federal level in Congress, to decide, where the line is drawn on abortion. I mean, the left's radical agenda is not what the American people want. So it's going to be interesting to watch it play out politically over the next couple of years.
Yeah, Mr. Attorney General, I thought this was interesting. Joe Biden was enjoying another one of those bike rides that he goes on down in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. And he said that he could invoke emergency health policies like we saw basically during COVID-19. Those are by definition temporary, though. So if he were to declare some sort of public health emergency as it relates to abortion, it would still be temporary, right?
Yeah, as we were reminded for the 4 years of the Trump administration, there is no dictatorship at the president's level. And so, I just really don't think that an emergency order is going to ultimately get President Biden and his administration anything meaningful on the regulation of abortion. This is a brave new world that we're experiencing, and ultimately the people need to hear their voices heard through their representatives.
Right. Yeah, and sir, what kind of message does this send that, if the administration isn't happy with the Supreme Court ruling, that the president can then sign an executive order?
Well, it sends a terrible message. This administration has not much cared about the rule of law to this point, and so I don't expect that they're going to, discover the rule of law now. But this administration is desperately reaching for anything to grab their base and try to retain it. I mean, you see where 2/3 of Americans don't want Joe Biden to run in 24. His, popularity has tanked, and everything they do appears to be just a desperate political artifice to save their skin. And this is another example of that.
Yeah, and nobody wants the Biden endorsement, whereas everybody wants the endorsement of the previous president. A Monmouth poll.
See that all the time.
Yeah, right. On Tuesday, a Monmouth poll came out that said that 88% of Americans say this country is headed in the wrong direction. Do you think that what the January 6th committee is doing and with what happened with Roe v. Wade on June the 24th, do you think that is on the mind of voters come November the 8th?
I don't, because obviously their day-to-day is pretty bleak. Inflation is out of control. The economy appears to be heading into a recession. And most importantly, issues like January 6th and the Dobbs opinion are nowhere to be found when your 401k is down by 25%. And so, I just see this as a tragic example of when the left is in charge, they, really tank not only the economy, but, the Americans', attitude toward their country.
Yeah.
And, the lack of patriotism and other things. Rob, I just think this is why, they have never delivered for the American people.
Yeah, and we still don't know who the leaker is for that draft opinion. Matthew Whitaker, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Good to see you.
Great to see you both. Thank you.
We'll be